What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Swanky Disc Golf. Today is Feature Friday. It is day 16 of Discmas, and we are featuring Apollo Disc Golf. He's going to be counting down the top 5 discs that he has reviewed this year. Just before we jump into it, I want to remind you all that we are giving away this Simon Lizotte Grip AX5 bag, and thanks to Disc Golf Deals USA, 25 discs with it if we hit 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. So far, we have already added a disc to the bag every day of Discmas. We're posting a video every day leading up to Christmas. So today we're going to add a new disc to the bag. Here is a list of all of the discs that we have already put in the bag so far. This bag is insane. Disc Golf Deals USA did not hold back whatsoever. Whoever gets this bag is going to be set for the rest of their life. Let's grab one more disc to throw in the bag. Today we have some more Thought Space plastic. We have the Thought Space Nerve Plastic Alter. Really amazing feeling putter going in the bag. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, guys. And don't forget, you can go to discgolfdealsusa.com and use code SWANKY10 to get 10% off all this month and all next month. So be sure to check it out. Also, don't forget to pick yourself up some Discmas apparel and enjoy the video, guys, with David from Apollo Disc Golf.
What's up, Swanky fam? This is David. I do a lot of disc golf reviews on YouTube, and I know that Swanky does a lot of like top 5 discs, so I thought I would go through and say what my top 5 discs are from discs that I've reviewed this year. Sorry, there's a dude over there that's like, I don't even know, he's strapping a fan to his back. Literally strapping a giant fan to his back and gonna go fly with a paraglider. Welcome to Missouri. If you didn't know, I have a disc golf channel, Apollo Disc Golf. We do a bunch of disc golf reviews and some tips. You might also remember me from the Creators Cup. I was the one who beat out Reed and knocked Swanky out of the finals. So if you might remember me from there. But yeah, I thought I'd go through the top 5 discs that I've reviewed this year. And one of those discs is actually the only disc this year that has actually made my bag for sure. So let's get into it.
The heck, you do some shots for us?
Alright, so these aren't going to be in any specific order whatsoever, but the first disc that I would say would be the Latitude 64 Grace. Now, Anthony, let's not get ahead of ourselves right now. The Grace is a very good distance driver for just about all skill levels. It's almost like the Destroyer for just regular amateurs. It's nice and consistent. It's overstable enough to be able to trust the flight in a lot of different situations, but it has enough turn to it and ease of use to be able to, like, even if you're not throwing it, if you throw under 400 feet, like, this is probably one of the best distance drivers you can get to be able to, like, cycle as your main distance driver. Because it really, to be honest, if you're not throwing over 425 feet, then something like a Destroyer is really not the best option for you. It's usually either a Wraith, and that used to be like the only option. It was like, if you're not throwing over 400 feet, your main driver should be the Wraith, and don't look any further than that. The Grace is basically a Wraith, but in Latitude 64's plastic. So I know there's a lot of, if you're a huge Trilogy fan and you haven't thrown the Grace yet, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice by not throwing the Grace. It is that good. So the 2 downsides to it is, one, they're expensive and hard to get. So I'm gonna throw that into one downside. So if you're someone to cycle discs or have a lot of the same mold, that might be a little bit more difficult with the Grace. The other side is there's not a ton of variability in terms of finding an overstable one. Like, yes, you can find the Kristen Tatar Orbit Graces, and those are a little bit more stable for you, but if you're looking for something really overstable that will fight the winds and be able to handle like 25 to 30 mile per hour winds, then you're gonna have to go to a different mold. And the other hand, if you get a Wraith, those you can find the variabilities and stabilities on stock ones, just like the variability and stabilities for the Grace. If you find the flat ones, the Graces are gonna be more flippy. The more dome you have, the more stable it's gonna be. But with the Wraith, you have the option of going a Halo Wraith, and those things, you really don't need anything more overstable than that for a distance driver until you get up to like 40-45 mile per hour winds. Then I would throw in go to a different mold for that case. So that would be the other downside, is there's no like overstable Grace option. But that would be the first one. It would be the Grace, but these aren't in any specific order. They're just all grouped as the best 5. But. So the next disc that I would say would be in my top 5 would be the Exodus. The Grace I reviewed quite a while ago, same with the Exodus. And this thing is just like, I believe it's the old Eagle L mold from Innova. And Infinite has done such a good job of getting those like underrated molds from Innova that didn't get a whole lot of attention and just bringing them back and bringing them in some sick plastics. So this is the Splatter S blend. It has like a slight dome to it. It's pretty soft, but like the outside is still pretty firm. And this is just like dead straight fairway driver. I would say it's like slightly faster with a touch more stability than like an FD type disc. Very workable in a lot of different lines. And in Star Plastic, you can beat it up, cycle it, and just have a nice day with it. It's not as stable as say a T-Bird or an Innovator or an Athena type disc, but it'll give you a little bit of turn. It's very workable out of the box. It's basically like a beat-in T-Bird. Like yes, you'd have to have something more stable than it if you wanted to bag this for the wins, but this is such a good disc. So speaking of old Innova molds that Infinite kind of brings back, I've just recently got these Czars and they look pretty sick. I think it's the old like T-Rex mold, which I threw a T-Rex, like I tried it out and dabbled with it before. Can't find it, but like it looks exactly like it almost. But I'll be reviewing this on my channel soon. So if you want to go over and subscribe for that, the Czar should be releasing on my channel then. But third on the list, and a lot of people said I was like fanboying for Drew Gibson in that video, but I wasn't. Like I'm a Drew Gibson fan, don't get me wrong. I really like him as a player, but I was legit in terms of the Era is a very, very good disc. And if you picked one up, you probably think the same and you probably understand why. It's just a very, like if you throw it clean, it's a nice hyzer flip, dead straight. It might turn a little bit and give you a fade at the end, but it goes very, very far. It's almost like a miniature Wraith or a miniature Grace, depending on which side of the line you are on that one. And it's very workable. It's also really good for, I would say it's very good for like recreational to intermediate players or like MA3 to MA2 players, because even though if you can't throw distance drivers yet, this is a great first option because it will fly and act like a distance driver would act for a more advanced player. It's not super forgiving either. Like it's still pretty easy to turn over, kind of like an Escape is, but the Era, it feels really comfortable in the hand. Like you just have to try it if you haven't. The Era is so good. And then it comes in like composite plastics, and I know a lot of people hate like inconsistent plastics, but like it's a part of the game. If you think a company is more consistent than another, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. And just the composite versions of them are also very good, and they're just nice and stable. So if you wanted to cycle Eras, like getting some forged ones and some composite ones, and they're great. And for some reason, the lighter weight orange ones were the most overstable for me. So if you're looking for the most overstable ones, go for like the 172, 170 range in the orange, and those things are beefcakes. But then the like other weights, so I have like a 170 purple one. It's so good. It's like a Thunderbird type stability, and it's pretty awesome. But the Era is just so good. All right, fourth disc. I'm sorry, Luke. You're never gonna allow you on your channel again, but it's the Berg, man. This disc, so good. So it's got like a weird rim. I give you that. It's like a lid style rim. Feels fat. It also has a weird little thumb track thing, but hear me out. That's what makes it really comfortable in the hand. Like if you have your thumb right there, and it just feels really good on a power grip. Fan grip, I don't know. I don't fan grip putters ever since that one upshot video Paul Macbeth made with Innova. If you know, you know. Said he power grips everything. Since then, it's like, if the champ power grips everything, I'm gonna power grip everything. I power grip everything. But it also, that thumb track also makes this great for forehands. Like, I can't name a better Annie forehand get out of trouble disc than the Berg. Like, it's just so good. Holds the line. It has a strange amount of like torque resistance, and it's also great for like, because it has no glide, you can just give a lot of runs to a lot of baskets. You can't deny giving runs on baskets. It's a good thing.
Get in.
How can you hate that, Luke? But not even this one. None of these discs so far have made my bag this year. There's only one that has. So yeah, the one disc that has made my bag through all of the reviews that I have done this year, the Prodiscus Jokeri. This thing, like when I reviewed it, it was back last in the winter, so it was still like February, March-ish, and I was expecting it to be kind of like a zone competitor, and because of that I was like a little bit disappointed. And in the review I just gave it like a meh review, but more I throw it, like, oh man, this is so good. It's like a straighter zone. It has a lot more glide, and it gives you more stability than like a throwing putter would give you. So off of the tee, you can really crank on it and trust that you're not really gonna turn it over at all, and it still gives you really good distance before fading back at the end. And even for like forehands, it gives you like short forehands that don't give you as much hook over as a zone would. It's just so good. I use this a lot more than my zone, than I ever use my zone. My zone only comes out in like just a little bit of situations. That's why I still have the same one for the 10 years, and it's still overstable. I use this like at least 10 times around. I use this so much for so many upshots. This has filled a gap in my bag that I never really thought I needed to fill. I didn't even know I had that gap until I started throwing the Jokeri. But this is like my disc of the year. Like, I know it wasn't released this year, but I discovered it this year, and it's my disc of the year for sure. Let me know what your favorite discs are in the link in the description, not the link in the description, in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you over on my channel. I won't see you in the next one here. I won't be in tomorrow's video. See you later. Oh, and Swanky, thank you guys for letting me on your channel.